The alarm screamed through every corridor of the sunrise dawn. Red lights flashed in angry pulses, turning the white walls into a nightmare of blood and shadow. Dae-hyun's hands shook as he tried to seal the communications panel. Sparks flew from damaged circuits, and somewhere far away he could hear explosions. This was not how he imagined dying. He was just a communications officer. He decoded messages and maintained signal arrays. He was not a soldier. He had never held a gun in his life. When he joined the space program 3 years ago, his mother cried and said he was brave. But Dae-hyun knew the truth. He was not brave. He just wanted to see the stars. Now the stars were trying to kill him. The Velthara had come without warning. Their ships appeared from nowhere, cutting through space like silver knives. The sunrise dawn never had a chance. Captain Rodriguez ordered evacuation, but the Velthara were too fast. They boarded the ship in minutes, moving through corridors like ghosts made of metal and rage. Dae-hyun ran. He was not proud of it, but he ran. The escape pods were 3 decks down. If he could just reach them, if he could just survive the next 5 minutes, he might see Earth again. He might see his mother again. He might live long enough to feel ashamed of his cowardice. The corridor twisted left, then right. Emergency lights cast long shadows. Dae-hyun's breath came in short gasps. His uniform was soaked with sweat. Behind him, he heard screams. He did not look back. The cargo bay doors stood open. This was wrong. The doors should be sealed during an attack. But Dae-hyun had no choice. The main corridor was blocked by fire and debris. The cargo bay was his only path to the escape pods. He stepped inside. The cargo bay was enormous, filled with containers and equipment for the colony they would never build. Crates towered like buildings, creating a maze of metal and shadow. Dae-hyun moved between them, trying to stay quiet. His heart hammered so hard he thought it might break through his chest. Then he heard breathing. Not his breathing. Someone else's breathing. Slow and steady and very close. Dae-hyun froze. Every muscle in his body locked tight. He wanted to run, but his legs would not move. He wanted to scream, but his throat was dry as sand. The breathing moved. Footsteps echoed on metal floor. Slow footsteps, patient footsteps, the footsteps of someone who knew they had already won. She stepped out from behind a container. Dae-hyun had never seen a Velthara before. Not in person. He had seen pictures, videos, training materials. But nothing prepared him for the reality. She was tall. Taller than any human woman he had ever seen. Her body was lean and muscular, built for speed and violence. She wore armor that seemed to grow from her skin, black and silver plates that moved when she moved. But it was her face that stopped his heart. She was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Sharp features, large eyes that glowed with a soft amber light. Her skin was the color of a storm cloud, shifting and swirling with shades of gray and silver. Her hair fell to her shoulders in waves of white and black. In her hand, she held a sword. The blade was longer than Dae-hyun's arm. It hummed with energy, glowing blue along the edges. He knew what that sword could do. He had seen the bodies it left behind. The Velthara woman looked at him. Her expression was calm, almost curious. She tilted her head like a cat studying a mouse. "You are alone," she said. Her voice was soft, but it carried across the cargo bay like a whisper in his ear. She spoke Korean, perfect Korean, no accent at all. Dae-hyun could not speak. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. The woman took a step forward. Her armor made no sound. "I am Isol of the Blade Clan. I have killed 17 of your crew today. You will be the 18th. She raised her sword. Dae-hyun finally found his voice. "Please." It was barely a whisper. "Please, I'm not a soldier. I'm just a communications officer. I don't even have a weapon." Isol's eyes narrowed. This does not matter. You are human. You are the enemy. This is war. I didn't want this war, Dae-hyun said. Tears ran down his face. He was not ashamed anymore. What did shame matter now? I just wanted to see the stars. I never hurt anyone. Please. For a moment, something flickered across Isol's face. Was it doubt? Pity? Dae-hyun could not tell. But then her expression hardened again. She took another step forward, raising the sword high above her head. Close your eyes, she said. It will be quick. Dae-hyun closed his eyes. He thought of his mother. He thought of Earth. He thought of all the things he would never see, never do, never say. He waited for the pain. He waited for the end. The sword did not fall. Instead, he felt something warm touch his lips, soft and gentle and completely unexpected. His eyes flew open in shock. Isol was kissing him, her lips pressed against his for 3 heartbeats. 4, 5. Then she pulled back, her eyes wide with something that looked like horror and wonder mixed together. Her skin had changed color, no longer storm cloud gray, it was now a deep crimson, like blood or roses. The color swirled and pulsed across her face, her neck, her arms. No, she whispered. No, this cannot be. Dae-hyun stared at her. His mind could not process what just happened. What? What did you... Isol lowered her sword. Her hand trembled. She looked at Dae-hyun like he was a monster, or a miracle, or maybe both. You are claimed, she said. Her voice shook. By the 3rd law of Kethavara, by the ancient blood of my ancestors, by the soul that knows before the mind understands, you are claimed. You are mine now. I don't understand, Dae-hyun said. Neither do I, Isul replied. She looked at her crimson skin, then back at Dae-hyun. But it is done. I cannot kill you. I cannot let you die. From this moment until the bond is fulfilled or broken, you belong to me. She reached out and grabbed his arm. Her grip was iron strong, but surprisingly gentle. Come. My ship is waiting. We must leave before your friends destroy this vessel. Wait, Dae-hyun said, trying to pull away. I can't just go with you. My crew... Your crew is dead or captured, Isol said. You have no choice. I have claimed you. If you refuse, you break the ancient law. If you break the ancient law, I must kill you anyway. So choose, die here or live with me. Dae-hyun looked around the cargo bay. He looked at the door that led to the escape pods. He looked at the sword in Isol's hand. He looked at her crimson skin and her amber eyes. I'll live, he said quietly. Isol nodded. Something that might have been relief crossed her face. Then follow me, and do exactly as I say. My people do not understand this claiming. They will want to kill you anyway. I must protect you now. She pulled him toward the far end of the cargo bay. Dae-hyun followed, his mind spinning with confusion and fear and the memory of a kiss that should have been a death sentence. His life as he knew it was over. Something new was beginning. He did not know if it was better or worse. He only knew that he was still breathing. For now, that was enough. The Velthara warship was nothing like the human vessels Dae-hyun knew. Everything was sharp angles and dark metal. The walls seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. Strange symbols glowed along the corridors in colors that hurt his eyes. The air tasted different, colder, like breathing metal and ozone. Isol pulled him through corridor after corridor. Other Velthara warriors stared as they passed. Their skin shifted through different colors when they saw Dae-hyun. Grays turned to dark purples and angry reds. One warrior stepped forward, blocking their path. Isul, the warrior said. He was even taller than Isul, with broad shoulders and scars across his face. Why do you bring this human onto our ship? It should be in the holding cells with the others. Stand aside, Hyunwoo, Isul said. Her voice was calm but hard as stone. Hyunwoo did not move. His skin flickered between purple and black. That is not an answer. You are the Silver Storm. You have never taken a prisoner before. You always finish the kill. Why is this one different? Isol's crimson skin darkened. Because I have claimed him under the third law. The corridor went silent. Every Velthara within hearing distance stopped moving. They stared at Isol like she had grown a second head. Yunwu's mouth opened, then closed. His skin went completely white. You cannot be serious. I am completely serious, Isol said. I experienced soul recognition during combat. The third law is ancient and absolute. I had no choice. The third law is a myth, Hyunwoo said. His voice rose. A story from 10,000 years ago. No one has invoked it in living memory. And you choose now? For a human? I did not choose, Isol said quietly. It chose me. And him. Daehyun stood very still, trying not to draw attention to himself. He understood only pieces of what they were saying. His translator implant struggled with the Velthara language, but he understood enough to know that Isol was in trouble because of him. Hyunwoo stepped closer. He towered over Daehyun, studying him like a scientist studies a strange insect. This creature is weak. Look at it. Soft skin, small muscles. No claws, no armor, no natural weapons. It cannot even survive in a real fight. How could you possibly experience soul recognition with something like this? Watch your words, Isol said. Her hand moved to her sword. Hyunwoo's eyes narrowed. You would draw your blade on me, your second in command, your friend since childhood, for this human? I would draw my blade on anyone who threatens what is mine, Isol said. Do not test me, Hyunwoo. The two warriors stared at each other. The air between them crackled with tension. Daehyun held his breath, certain he was about to watch someone die. Then Hyunwoo stepped back. His skin shifted to a dull gray. The commander will hear of this. You know he will not approve. Let him hear, Isol said. The third law supersedes even the commander's authority. It is written in the old codes. Unless he wishes to challenge 10,000 years of tradition, he has no choice but to accept it. Hyunwoo shook his head slowly. This will not end well for you, Isul, or for your human. He walked away, his footsteps echoing in the corridor. The other warriors dispersed, returning to their duties. But Daehyun could feel their eyes on him. He could see the colors shifting across their skin. None of them were happy about his presence. Isul resumed walking. She did not speak until they reached a door marked with symbols Daehyun could not read. The door slid open with a soft hiss. These are my quarters, Isul said. You will stay here. The room was larger than Daehyun expected. One wall was transparent, showing the vast darkness of space and the distant stars. The furniture was minimal. A sleeping platform, a desk, weapons mounted on the walls. Everything was organized with military precision. Daehyun stepped inside cautiously. The door closed behind him. Isol removed her armor. Piece by piece, the black and silver plates detached from her body and arranged themselves on a stand near the wall. Beneath the armor, she wore a simple gray bodysuit. Without the armor, she looked smaller, more vulnerable, but still dangerous. Sit, she said, gesturing to a chair. Daehyun sat. His legs felt like water. Now that the immediate danger had passed, the reality of his situation crashed down on him. He was on an enemy warship. His crew was captured or dead. He was alone with an alien warrior who had killed 17 people today. And she had kissed him. Isol paced the room. Her skin continued to shift through shades of crimson and pink. I need to explain the third law to you. You must understand what has happened. Please, Daehyun said. His voice came out as a whisper. Isol stopped pacing. She stood by the window looking out at the stars. My people have been warriors for 10,000 years. We live by codes and laws written in the blood of our ancestors. The third law of Kethvara is one of the oldest and most sacred. She turned to face him. It says that when a warrior experiences soul recognition during combat, they must claim that person instead of killing them. Soul recognition is when your soul knows another soul before your mind understands. It happens in an instant, a moment of perfect clarity. You look at someone and you know, deep in your bones, that they are meant to be part of your life. Daehyun stared at her. That sounds like love at first sight. It is more than love, Isul said. Love is an emotion. Soul recognition is a fact, like gravity or time. You cannot argue with it. You cannot refuse it. When it happens, the claiming ritual must be performed immediately. The kiss, Daehyun said. Yes, the kiss is the claiming ritual. It binds us together until the bond is fulfilled or broken by mutual consent. Isul's skin darkened. I do not understand why this happened. I have fought hundreds of battles. I have faced thousands of enemies. I have never experienced soul recognition before. But when I looked at you, standing there unarmed and terrified, begging for your life, something inside me recognized you. Something ancient and undeniable. She sat down across from him. For the first time, she looked uncertain, vulnerable. I am the Silver Storm. I am undefeated in combat. I have brought honor to my clan for 15 years. And now I have claimed a human. Do you understand what that means? My people view humans as weak, soft, inferior. By claiming you, I have told them that my soul recognizes a human as my equal, my destined companion. They will never understand this. Daehyun's mind raced. What happens now? What does being claimed mean? It means you cannot leave my side until the bond is fulfilled. You are under my protection, but also my responsibility. If you die, I am dishonored. If you commit crimes, I am responsible. If you disgrace yourself, I am disgraced. Isul's amber eyes fixed on him. You are mine, but in claiming you, I have also become yours. We are bound together now. What if I don't want this? Daehyun asked quietly. Isul's skin flickered with dark colors. Then you may request that I break the bond. If I agree, I must kill you quickly and mercifully. The third law does not allow for claiming and then releasing. Once claimed, the bond ends only in fulfillment or death. Fulfillment? Daehyun said. What does that mean? I do not know, Isul admitted. The ancient texts are unclear. Some say it means living together until natural death. Others say it means completing some great task together. Others say you know fulfillment when you feel it. She looked away. No one alive has experienced this. The third law has not been invoked in generations. We are walking a path no one has walked in a very long time. Daehyun felt dizzy. My crew, what happened to them? The survivors have been taken to Kethran Prime, our fortress world. They will be questioned about your military capabilities. Then they will be held as prisoners until your government agrees to terms of surrender. And me? You come with me to Kethran Prime. But you are not a prisoner. You are claimed. There is a difference. Isul stood. You should rest. Tomorrow will be difficult. My commander will want to see you. He will not be pleased. Daehyun looked around the room. Where do I sleep? Isul gestured to the sleeping platform. There. Where do you sleep? There is only one bed, Isul said. We are claimed. We sleep together. Daehyun's face went red. We just met. For the first time, something that might have been amusement crossed Isul's face. I'm not going to mate with you, human. Not yet, anyway. Perhaps not ever. The claiming is a soul bond, not a marriage. But claimed pairs do not sleep separately. It is tradition. and tradition matters to my people more than comfort or modesty." She moved to the bed and lay down on one side, leaving space for him. "Come, I will not hurt you. You are safe with me, safer than you have ever been or ever will be again." Daehyun stood slowly. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But there was nowhere to run. He was on an enemy ship, surrounded by warriors who wanted him dead. His only protection was the woman who had killed 17 of his friends today, the woman who had kissed him instead of killing him. He lay down on the bed, staying as far from Isol as possible. The bed was hard and cold, nothing like his bunk on the sunrise dawn. "Sleep," Isol said. "Tomorrow you learn what it means to be claimed by the Silver Storm." Daehyun closed his eyes. He did not think he would sleep, but exhaustion pulled him down into darkness, and he dreamed of crimson skin and amber eyes and a kiss that changed everything. Catherine Prime was a world of stone and steel. From the viewing port of Isul's shuttle, Daehyun saw massive fortress structures rising from bare mountains. No forests, no oceans. Just endless gray rock and towering buildings that looked more like weapons than homes. The sky was orange, lit by twin suns that cast harsh shadows across everything. "This is your home?" Daehyun asked. Isul stood beside him, watching the planet grow larger. "This is where I trained, where I became a warrior. Home is not the right word. Forge is better. This world forges warriors from children. Those who survive become what you see. Those who do not, do not." The shuttle descended toward the largest fortress. It stood at the center of a vast plain, surrounded by walls that rose higher than any building Daehyun had ever seen on Earth. Thousands of Velthara moved through the courtyards and training grounds, all of them armed, all of them dangerous. The shuttle landed with barely a bump. Isul gathered her weapons, strapping blades to her back and sides. She looked at Daehyun. "Stay close to me. Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not touch anything. Do not look directly at any commander or clan leader. Keep your eyes down. Show respect. Your life depends on you following these rules." Daehyun nodded. His mouth was too dry to speak. The shuttle door opened. Hot air rushed in, carrying the smell of metal and dust and something else. Sweat. Blood. The smell of a place where people trained to kill. Isul stepped out first. Daehyun followed, keeping close to her side. The other Velthara warriors stared. Their skin colors shifted as they recognized what Daehyun was. Purples and dark reds and angry blacks. Someone spat on the ground as he passed. They crossed the courtyard to a massive door carved with symbols and battle scenes. The door opened automatically. Inside, the temperature dropped 20 degrees. The walls were covered with weapons from floor to ceiling. Swords, spears, axes, things Daehyun had no names for. Some looked ancient, others hummed with energy. A Velthara warrior waited for them at the end of a long hall. He was older than Isul, his face lined with scars. His skin was a deep gold color that did not change when he saw Daehyun. His eyes were black as space. "Commander Taejin," Isul said, bowing her head slightly. "Isul the Silver Storm," Commander Taejin said. His voice was deep and rough. "I received Hyunwoo's report. Tell me he was mistaken. Tell me you did not invoke the third law for a human." "I cannot tell you that, Commander. It would be a lie." Taejin's skin flickered with dark colors for just a moment, then returned to gold. "Come to my office. Both of you. We will discuss this privately." He turned and walked deeper into the fortress. Isul followed. Daehyun walked behind her, trying to make himself as small and invisible as possible. The commander's office was sparse. A desk, chairs, more weapons on the walls. A window looked out over the training grounds where hundreds of Velthara practiced combat. Daehyun could see them moving through forms, their bodies flowing like water and striking like lightning. "Sit," Taejin said. They sat. The commander remained standing, looking down at them. He studied Daehyun for a long moment. You are small, weak. You have no natural defenses, no warrior's build, no scars from battle. What is your name? Daehyun, he said quietly. Sir. Daehyun, Taejin repeated. And what is your rank? What battles have you won? What enemies have you defeated? I am a communications officer. I do not fight. I manage signals and decode messages. Taejin looked at Isul. This is what your soul recognized. A worker, not even a warrior. Yes, Commander, Isul said. Her skin remained crimson. I cannot explain it. I do not understand it myself. But the third law is absolute. When soul recognition occurs, the claiming must follow. The third law is ancient, Taejin said. Written for a different time. A time when our people were not warriors first. A time when other qualities mattered beyond strength and honor. He circled around his desk, his movements smooth and controlled. But we are not in that time anymore. We are at war with humanity. They spread through space like a disease. They consume resources. They breed without control. They must be stopped. And you, Isul, have claimed one of them as your own. Do you see the problem? I see it, Commander. Do you? Taejin's voice sharpened. Your warriors are confused. They question your judgment. They wonder if you have gone soft. Some of the younger ones whisper that you are a traitor. Hyunwoo is already requesting transfer to another unit. He does not want to serve under someone who would choose a human over her own people. Isul's hands clenched into fists. I have not chosen humans over my people. I have followed the law. The ancient law that all Velthara are sworn to uphold. Laws can be interpreted, Taejin said. Some scholars believe the third law only applies to claiming other Velthara. Not aliens, not enemies. That is not what the texts say. I have read them. The third law speaks of any sentient being. It makes no exception for species or allegiance. Taejin was quiet for a moment. Then he sighed. You are right. The law is clear. I cannot overturn it without dishonoring 10,000 years of tradition. But I can make your life difficult. I can assign you to duties that will test this bond. I can force you to prove that this claiming has value. He turned to Daehyun. You, human. You are now under military jurisdiction. You will be given a place to sleep, food to eat, basic necessities. But you will also be required to train. If you are truly claimed by the Silver Storm, you must prove you are not a burden. You must learn our ways. You must become strong enough to survive in our world. Can you do this? Daehyun swallowed hard. I will try. Trying is not enough. You will do it or you will die. We do not tolerate weakness here. Taejin looked back at Isul. You will train him personally, every day. If he fails, you fail. If he embarrasses himself, you are embarrassed. His weakness reflects on you now. Do you understand? Yes, Commander. Good. You are dismissed. Report to the training grounds at dawn. Bring your human. Let us see what he is made of. They left the office. As soon as they were in the corridor, Isul grabbed Daehyun's arm and pulled him along. Come. We have much to do and very little time. What just happened? Daehyun asked. You have been given a test. We both have. The commander wants to see if you can survive here. If you can become strong enough to justify the claiming. If you fail, he will have reason to question the third law. He will use your failure to argue that the old ways no longer apply to modern threats. They emerged into another courtyard. This one was smaller, surrounded by high walls. Training equipment filled the space. Wooden posts, practice weapons, climbing structures, obstacle courses. Isul picked up a wooden sword and tossed it to Daehyun. He caught it awkwardly. It was heavier than he expected. We start now, Isul said. Show me how you fight. I told you, I do not fight. I do not know how. Then I will teach you. Isul picked up another wooden sword. Attack me. Try to hit me. Do not worry about hurting me. You cannot. Just try. Daehyun looked at the sword in his hands. He had never held a weapon before. Not a real one. He had played video games. He had seen action movies. But this was different. This was real. He stepped forward and swung the sword at Isul. She moved slightly to the side. His sword hit nothing but air. The momentum of the swing pulled him off balance and he stumbled. Again, Isul said. He tried again. This time she did not even move. She simply raised her sword and deflected his strike with barely any effort. Again, he tried a third time. She ducked under his swing and tapped him lightly on the side with her sword. You are dead. Again. They continued for an hour. Daehyun swung and missed, swung and was blocked, swung and was struck. His arms burned with exhaustion. Sweat poured down his face. His hands blistered from gripping the wooden sword. Isul barely moved. She did not even breathe hard. She simply stood there, effortlessly avoiding or blocking everything he tried. You fight like you are afraid, she said finally. Like you are apologizing for taking up space. This will not work. If you want to survive here, you must fight like you mean it. Like your life depends on it. Because it does. Daehyun dropped the sword. His hands were bleeding. I cannot do this. I am not a warrior. I will never be a warrior. This was a mistake. You should have just killed me on the ship. Isul's skin flickered with dark colors. She walked over to him and grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. Listen to me. I do not claim weaklings. I do not claim cowards. My soul recognized something in you that I cannot see yet. But it is there. I believe this. You must believe it too. I do not believe it, Daehyun said. Tears mixed with sweat on his face. I am nothing. I have always been nothing. Then you will become something, Isul said. Because I will make you something. Starting now. Pick up the sword. Daehyun looked at his bleeding hands. He looked at the sword on the ground. He looked at Isul's crimson skin and amber eyes. He picked up the sword. Good, Isul said. Now attack me again, and this time do not apologize. They trained until the twin suns set and the orange sky turned purple. Daehyun's body screamed with pain, but he kept swinging, kept trying, kept fighting. And somewhere deep inside, something small and fierce began to wake up, something that refused to die. 3 weeks passed like 3 years. Every morning before the twin suns rose, Isul woke Daehyun for training. His body was a map of bruises and cuts. His muscles ached in places he did not know he had muscles. But slowly, painfully, he was changing. His soft body was becoming harder. His slow reflexes were becoming faster. Not fast enough to match a Velthara, but faster than before. He was still the weakest person in the fortress. But he was no longer the person who had begged for his life in that cargo bay. Today was different. Today was the Tournament of Blades. Every season, the fortress held competitions to test the warriors and rank them by skill. Normally, only trained warriors participated. But Commander Taejin had decided that Daehyun must compete too. To prove your worth, the commander had said, or to prove you have none. Isul stood with Daehyun at the edge of the arena. Thousands of Velthara filled the stands, their skin shifting through colors as they talked and laughed and placed bets on the matches. The arena floor was hard-packed dirt, stained dark with old blood. You will face Bowman, Isul said. She is a trainee, only 2 years into her warrior training. She is the weakest opponent they could give you without insulting the tournament completely. She will still destroy me, Daehyun said. Probably, Isul agreed. But you do not need to win. You only need to survive. Last as long as you can. Show them you can take damage and keep fighting. That is what matters. A horn blew. Daehyun's name was called. Not in Korean. In Velthara, the crowd laughed when they heard it. A human in the tournament of blades. It was a joke to them. Entertainment. Daehyun walked into the arena. The ground felt strange under his feet, too solid, too real. Across from him, Bowman entered from the opposite side. She was young for a Velthara, barely adult. But she was still taller than Daehyun and built like a panther. Her skin was a light blue, rippling with confidence. They each picked up a practice sword. Blunted metal, not the energy blades the advanced warriors used. These could still break bones, but would not cut through flesh. The horn blew again. The match began. Bowman moved like lightning. She crossed the arena in 3 strides and swung her sword at Daehyun's head. He barely got his own sword up in time to block. The impact sent shockwaves through his arms. She spun and struck at his legs. He jumped back, avoiding the blow by inches. The crowd roared with laughter. This was exactly what they expected. A human flailing around, desperately trying not to die. But Daehyun remembered his training. Isol had taught him that he could never match a Velthara's strength or speed, so he should not try. He should use different advantages, human advantages. Bowman came at him again. This time, instead of blocking or dodging, Daehyun did something unexpected. He threw a handful of dirt in her face. The crowd went silent. Bowman stumbled back, clawing at her eyes. Her skin turned dark purple with anger. "Dishonorable!" someone shouted from the stands. But Daehyun did not care about honor. He cared about surviving. While Bowman was distracted, he kicked her hard in the knee, not with the grace of a warrior, with the desperation of someone who knew this was his only chance. Bowman's leg buckled. She went down on one knee. Daehyun swung his sword at her head. She blocked it easily even while half blind, but now she was on the defensive. Now she was the one reacting instead of attacking. Daehyun kept pressing. He did not fight like a warrior. He fought like a human. He feinted left and went right. He pretended to strike high and kicked low. He used every dirty trick Isol had reluctantly taught him, saying they were beneath a true warrior, but necessary for survival. The crowd was not laughing anymore. They were confused, angry. This was not how combat was supposed to work. This was not honorable. This was not the Velthara way. But it was working. Bowman's eyes cleared. Her skin turned black with rage. She roared and charged at Daehyun with all her strength. He could not block that charge. He could not dodge it. So he did not try. Instead, he dropped to the ground and rolled to the side. Bowman's momentum carried her past him. She slammed into the arena wall with a sound like a thunderclap. Daehyun scrambled to his feet. Bowman turned, dazed and furious. They circled each other. Daehyun's body screamed with exhaustion. He had lasted maybe 3 minutes. That was longer than anyone expected. He could stop now. He could surrender with what little honor he had earned. But something in him refused to quit. Bowman attacked again. This time she was more careful, more controlled. She had learned that Daehyun would not fight fair. She adapted. That was the mark of a true warrior. The next 2 minutes were brutal. Bowman landed blow after blow. Daehyun's ribs cracked. His shoulder dislocated. Blood ran from a cut above his eye. But he stayed on his feet. He kept moving. He kept fighting. Finally, Bowman's sword struck his head hard enough to knock him unconscious. He fell to the ground and did not get up. The crowd was silent. Then, slowly, a few Velthara began to make a sound. Not cheering, not quite approval, but acknowledgement. The human had fought. He had lasted 5 minutes against a trained warrior. He had used methods they considered dishonorable, but he had survived longer than anyone thought possible. Daehyun woke up in the medical center. His whole body was pain. He could not move without something hurting. Isol sat beside his bed, her skin shifting between crimson and soft blue. "You did well," she said. "I lost," Daehyun said. His voice was rough. "You survived. That is all I asked." Isol stood and looked out the window. The other warriors are talking. They are disturbed by your methods. They call you dishonorable, cowardly, weak. But some of the younger ones are asking questions. They wonder if there is value in fighting without honor when survival is at stake. She turned back to him. You showed them something today. You showed them that humans do not fight like Velthara. You fight like humans. You adapt, you improvise. You do whatever it takes to survive. We Velthara are stronger and faster, but we are also predictable. We follow the forms. We obey the traditions. You do not. You cannot. And that makes you dangerous in a way we do not know how to counter. Dae-hyun tried to sit up. Pain shot through his ribs and he fell back. That sounds like a good thing. For you, maybe. For me. Isol's skin darkened. It makes the other warriors question our traditions, question our way of life. That is dangerous. Change is dangerous. My people do not like change. The door opened. Ji-won entered, escorted by 2 guards. Dae-hyun's friend looked thin and tired. His eyes widened when he saw Dae-hyun's injuries. What did they do to you? Ji-won asked in Korean. Tournament, Dae-hyun said. I volunteered. You volunteered to get beaten half to death? I volunteered to prove I could survive it. Ji-won looked at the guards, then at Isol, then back at Dae-hyun. He switched to English, speaking quickly and quietly. We are planning an escape. Next week during their festival, most of the guards will be distracted. We have been mapping the fortress. We think we can reach the transport bay. There is a human strike force coming. If we can signal them, they will extract us. Dae-hyun's heart sank. He glanced at Isol. She was watching them with those amber eyes. Could she understand English? He did not know. I cannot go, Dae-hyun said in Korean. What? Ji-won switched back to Korean, forgetting to be careful. What do you mean you cannot go? This is our chance to escape, to go home. I am claimed. I cannot leave. Ji-won stared at him. She is the enemy. She has brainwashed you or something. You do not owe her anything. It is not about owing. It is about the bond. If I break it, she has to kill me, and I do not want to die. You would rather stay here, live with these monsters? Dae-hyun looked at Isul. She was still watching them. They are not monsters. They are just different. They killed our crew, Ji-won said. His voice shook. They attacked our ship. They started this war. Did they? Dae-hyun asked. Or did we? We expanded into their space. We built colonies on worlds they claimed first. Maybe from their perspective, we are the invaders. Ji-won stepped back like Dae-hyun had hit him. I do not believe what I am hearing. They really have broken you. They have not broken me. They have changed me. There is a difference. The guards moved forward. Time to go, one said to Ji-won in halting Korean. Ji-won looked at Dae-hyun one more time. If you change your mind, you know where to find me. We leave in 7 days, with or without you. He left. The door closed. Isol sat down beside the bed again. You understood every word, didn't you? Dae-hyun asked. Yes, Isol said. I speak 6 languages. English is one of them. Are you going to report the escape plan? Isol was quiet for a long moment. I do not know. My duty is to the Empire. But you are claimed. Your friends are yours. If I report them, you will hate me. If I do not report them, I betray my people. Her skin shifted through a dozen colors. This bond has made everything complicated. Life is complicated, Dae-hyun said. It did not used to be. It used to be simple. Fight, win, survive. That was all that mattered. Isol put her hand over his. Her skin was warm. Now there is you, and nothing is simple anymore. They sat in silence as the twin suns set beyond the window, painting the sky in shades of fire and blood. The Festival of Blades came faster than Dae-hyun wanted. The entire fortress transformed overnight. Banners hung from every wall, showing the symbols of different clans. Warriors painted their faces with colors that glowed in the dark, the air filled with drums and strange singing that made Dae-hyun's bones vibrate. Isol had not reported the escape plan. She said nothing about it, and Dae-hyun did not ask. They trained during the day and returned to their quarters at night. They ate together. They slept in the same bed, though they never touched beyond the occasional accidental brush of skin. The bond between them had grown, but it was fragile, built on obligation and confusion, and something neither of them wanted to name. The night of the festival arrived. Thousands of Velthara gathered in the main courtyard. They drank a bitter alcohol that made their skin glow brighter. They performed blade dances, their weapons moving so fast they looked like streams of silver light. They sang songs of battles won and enemies defeated. Dae-hyun stood beside Isol on a balcony overlooking the celebration. She wore ceremonial armor, more beautiful than her combat gear. It looked like it was made from starlight and shadow. Her crimson skin made the armor glow. "You are thinking about your friends," Isol said. It was not a question. "Yes. You want to help them." Dae-hyun said nothing. What could he say? She was right. Isol's skin darkened. "I have been thinking about this for 7 days, about duty and honor and what it means to be claimed, about what my soul saw in you that my mind still does not understand." She turned to face him. "Go." "What?" "Go. Help your friends. I will not stop you." Dae-hyun stared at her. "If I help them escape, you will be dishonored. You will be punished for not reporting it." "Yes." "Then why?" Isol looked back at the celebration below. "Because you cannot be mine if you hate me." "Because loyalty that comes from fear or obligation is not real loyalty." "Because—" She stopped. Her skin shifted through a dozen colors before settling back to crimson. "Because I am beginning to understand what my soul saw in you. You are not a warrior, but you are brave in a different way. You are brave enough to care about others more than yourself. That is not a weakness. That is a strength my people have forgotten." She reached up and touched his face. "So go. Save your friends. But know this. If you do not come back, I will hunt you across the galaxy. Not to kill you, to find you, because you are still claimed. That bond does not break just because you run away." "I will come back," Dae-hyun said. The words surprised him, but he meant them. "I promise. Do not make promises you cannot keep." "I am not." Isul kissed him. Not like the first time in the cargo bay. Not a ritual or a claiming. This was soft and sad and full of things neither of them could say out loud. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. "Go now. Before I change my mind. The transport bay is 2 levels down, east corridor. Most of the guards are here at the festival. You have maybe 2 hours." Dae-hyun ran. He knew the fortress well enough now to navigate without getting lost. He had memorized the corridors during his training. He found Ji-won and the others in a maintenance room near the transport bay, just as Ji-won had said. 15 humans total, all that remained from the crew of the Sunrise Dawn. "You came," Ji-won said. His face split into a grin. "I knew you would come." "We do not have much time," Dae-hyun said. "The festival will last 2 more hours. The guards are distracted but not gone. We need to move fast." They crept through the corridors. Dae-hyun led them, his heart pounding so hard he thought it would explode. Every shadow looked like a guard. Every sound made him freeze. They reached the transport bay. 6 small ships sat in the hangar, sleek and deadly. The humans had spent weeks studying them, learning how to operate them. "That one," Ji-won pointed. "It is the fastest. It can hold all of us." They were halfway to the ship when the lights came on. Dozens of Velthara warriors emerged from hiding spots around the hangar. They had been waiting, watching. They surrounded the humans, weapons drawn. Commander Tae-jin stepped forward from the shadows. His skin was black as night. Behind him stood Hyunwoo, and his expression was satisfied, proud. "Did you truly think we did not know?" Taejin said. "We have been monitoring you for weeks. We knew about every whispered conversation, every plan. We allowed you to believe you could escape. And then we waited." Jiwon grabbed Daehyun's arm. You told them. You are a traitor." "No," Daehyun said. "I did not tell anyone, I swear." But no one believed him. The other humans backed away from him like he was diseased. Taejin smiled coldly. The human speaks truth. He told no one. But someone else did. He looked past them. Isol stood in the doorway of the hangar. Her face was blank, her skin a neutral gray. She did not look at Daehyun. "No," Daehyun whispered. "No, you said—" "I said go," Isol said quietly. "I did not say I would let you succeed." Hyunwoo stepped forward. "She came to me 2 hours ago, told me everything. Told me where you would be and when. She chose her people over you, human, as she should have from the beginning." The world tilted under Daehyun's feet. She had lied. She had sent him here knowing it was a trap. She had used him. The betrayal hurt worse than any injury from the tournament. "Isul," he said. His voice broke. "Why?" She finally looked at him. Her eyes were empty. "Because I am a warrior of the Velthara Empire. Because my duty is to my people. Because whatever my soul thinks it knows, my mind knows better. The claiming was a mistake. It should never have happened." "Kill them," Taejin ordered. The warriors moved forward. The humans had nowhere to run, no weapons, no chance. Jiwon shoved Daehyun hard. "This is your fault. We trusted you. We thought you could help us." "But you were too busy playing house with your alien girlfriend to see she was using you." Energy weapons charged with a high-pitched whine. Daehyun closed his eyes. He had survived so much, trained so hard, changed so much. And for what? To die in a trap set by the one person he had started to trust. The first shot rang out, then screaming, but not human screaming, Velthara screaming. Daehyun opened his eyes. The hangar bay doors had exploded inward. Human soldiers poured through wearing combat armor and carrying weapons that made the Velthara energy swords look like toys. The strike force. They had arrived early. Chaos erupted. Velthara warriors engaged the human soldiers. Energy bolts flew in every direction. The air filled with smoke and the smell of burning metal. "Move!" a human soldier shouted. "Get to the ship!" The prisoners ran. Daehyun ran with them, his mind blank with shock. He looked back once. Isol stood in the middle of the battle, her sword drawn. She was fighting the human soldiers, fighting his people, protecting the Velthara, who had been about to execute them all. She met his eyes across the chaos. Her expression did not change, but her skin flickered with crimson for just a moment before turning black again. Jiwon grabbed Daehyun and pulled him onto the ship. The engines roared to life. More soldiers piled in, covering their escape with suppressing fire. The ship lurched into the air. Through the viewport, Daehyun watched the fortress shrink below them. He watched the battle rage in the hangar. He watched until he could not see Isul anymore. Jiwon slammed his fist into Daehyun's face. The blow split his lip. "You are lucky I do not throw you out the airlock. Jiwon died because of your escape plan. Others died, and you were sleeping with the enemy the whole time." "Wait," one of the soldiers said. His name tag read Corporal Minho. "Who is this?" "A traitor," Jiwon spat. "He was claimed by one of their warriors. He has been living with them for weeks, probably feeding them information about us." Minho's expression hardened. "Restrain him. We will sort this out when we get back to the fleet." Hands grabbed Daehyun. Zip ties cut into his wrists. He did not fight. What was the point? He had lost everything. His crew thought he was a traitor. The Velthara had used him as bait, and Isul had betrayed him in the worst way possible. As the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, carrying them away from Catherine Prime and toward the human fleet, Daehyun wondered if Isul had been lying when she kissed him, or if she had been lying when she betrayed him, or if maybe, in the complicated mess of duty and honor and soul bonds, she had been telling the truth both times. He did not know. And as the stars blurred past the viewport and his former friends guarded him like a prisoner, he realized he might never know. The bond was broken, not by mutual consent, not by fulfillment, but by betrayal. And betrayal, he had learned, was worse than any death. Daehyun woke to the sound of screaming metal and alarms. The ship shook violently. Something had hit them. Through the viewport, he saw Velthara fighters swarming like angry insects. "Evasive maneuvers!" the pilot shouted, but it was too late. Another impact. The ship spun. Systems failed. Red emergency lights replaced the normal ones. Corporal Minho cut Daehyun's restraints. "If we crash, I need everyone who can move helping with damage control, even traitors." He shoved a fire extinguisher into Daehyun's hands. "Make yourself useful." The ship spiraled toward the planet below, not Catherine Prime, a different world, wild and green and covered in forests. The pilot struggled with the controls, trying to slow their descent. They hit the atmosphere hard. The ship's hull screamed. Heat turned the viewport white. They crashed into a forest canopy. Trees exploded around them. The ship tumbled, rolling 3 times before slamming into a ravine. Metal shrieked. Glass shattered. Then silence. Daehyun's ears rang. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. He was alive. Somehow, impossibly, alive. "Status report," Minho groaned from somewhere in the wreckage. "Pilot is dead," someone said. "Navigation is destroyed. We have no communications, no way to signal the fleet." "Survivors?" 8, 9 if you count the traitor. Daehyun did not bother arguing anymore. Let them think what they wanted. They crawled out of the broken ship. The forest around them was alien and beautiful. Purple trees reached toward a pink sky. Strange birds called from branches. The air tasted sweet and thick. "Where are we?" Jiwon asked. Minho checked a damaged scanner. "Catherine Prime, we did not make it out of the system. We are in the southern continent, the Crimson Wastes, according to Velthara maps." "The Wastes," another soldier said. "That is where they exile criminals. It is supposed to be full of predators and rogue warriors." "Well," Minho said grimly, "at least we will not die bored." They salvaged what they could from the ship. Some weapons, medical supplies, rations for maybe a week if they were careful. Not enough. Not nearly enough. "We move south," Minho decided. "Find shelter. Figure out how to survive long enough for the fleet to find us." They walked for hours through the alien forest. Daehyun stayed at the back of the group, still treated like a prisoner even without restraints. No one spoke to him. No one looked at him. The first night, they made camp in a cave. No fire. Fire would attract attention. They ate cold rations and tried to sleep on the hard ground. Daehyun sat apart from the others, his back against the cave wall. His mind kept returning to Isul. Her face when she betrayed him, the emptiness in her eyes. Had any of it been real? The training, the conversations, the moment on the balcony when she told him to go? Or had it all been an elaborate game? A way to identify the escape attempt and crush it? He did not know, and that not knowing was a wound that would not heal. The second day, they encountered their first predator. A scarix, the locals called it. A creature the size of a truck, covered in black scales and sporting 6 legs and a mouth full of teeth like knives. It came at them from the trees, moving faster than anything that big should move. Minho and his soldiers opened fire. Energy weapons burned into the creature's hide. It roared and kept coming. Jiwan ran. Two other survivors ran. The Scarix caught one, its jaws closing around the man's torso. The screaming lasted 3 seconds, then just the sound of crunching bones. The creature turned toward the rest of them. Minho was reloading. The other soldiers were backing away. The Scarix prepared to charge. Daehyun remembered his training with Isul. He remembered her voice. Warriors fight with honor. Humans fight to survive. Do whatever it takes. He grabbed a handful of local plants from the ground, crushed them in his hands. They released a strong chemical smell, something between ammonia and rotten eggs. He had noticed these plants earlier and wondered what they were. Now he had an answer. He threw the crushed plants at the Scarix's face. The creature reeled back, pawing at its eyes. The chemical smell drove it away from the cave, howling in confusion and pain. The group stared at Daehyun. "How did you know that would work?" Minho asked. "I did not," Daehyun admitted. "I guessed. The plants smelled strong. Strong smells usually mean defense mechanisms. I took a chance." "You took a chance that saved our lives." Jiwon said nothing, but his expression changed slightly. Less hatred, more confusion. They kept moving. Days blurred together. They lost 2 more people to predators and 1 to infected wounds. 5 survivors remained, including Daehyun. On the 7th day, they encountered other humans, not from their crew. These were the escaped prisoners from weeks ago, the ones who had fled during the festival chaos. Only 8 of them left from the original 15. Their leader was a woman named Yoonji, the ship's medical officer. She was thin and scarred and had eyes that had seen too much. "You are the one who was claimed," Yoonji said, studying Daehyun. "We heard about you. The human who lived with them." "Yes." "Did you betray us?" "No. But no one believes that." Yoonji looked at Minho. "Did he help you escape?" "He led us into a trap," Jiwon said, before Minho could answer. "He also saved us from a Scarix using knowledge of local plants," Minho countered. "Knowledge he learned from the Veltara. If he is a traitor, he is the most helpful traitor I have ever met." Yoonji made a decision. "We can use helpful. Traitor or not, we need everyone who can survive out here. We have been mapping the area. There is a Veltara outpost 3 days northwest. Small, lightly defended. We have been planning to raid it for supplies and communications equipment." "That is suicide," Minho said. "So is staying out here. We have maybe 3 days of food left. We need medicine. We need a way to signal the fleet. The outpost is our only chance." They debated for an hour. In the end, desperation won. They would raid the outpost. That night, as the others slept, Daehyun kept watch. Yoonji approached him, moving silently. "Cannot sleep?" she asked. "I do not sleep much anymore." She sat beside him. "For what it is worth, I do not think you are a traitor. Traitors do not teach their captors how to make smoke bombs from local plants. They do not risk their lives to help people who hate them." "Thank you. But I do think you are confused. About her, the one who claimed you." Daehyun said nothing. "I saw you before the escape," Yoonji continued. "I saw how you looked at her, like she was the sun and you were a plant starving for light. That is dangerous. The Velthara are not like us. They do not love the way we love. They have their honor codes and their soul bonds and their ancient laws. But at the end of the day, they are warriors. They kill. That is what they do. That is what they are." "I know," Daehyun said quietly. "Do you? Because I think part of you still believes she cared about you. Part of you still hopes this was all a misunderstanding. Maybe I am a fool. We are all fools when it comes to matters of the heart." Yoonji stood. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we plan the raid. And you are going to help us, because you know how they think. You know how they fight. That makes you valuable." Even if I am a traitor? Yunji smiled sadly. Especially if you are a traitor, because traitors know secrets. The raid was planned for 3 days later. They would strike at night when the outpost had minimum staff. They would use the element of surprise and human ingenuity to overcome superior Velthara strength. It was a terrible plan. But it was the only plan they had. On the second night of planning, Daehyun was gathering water from a nearby stream when he heard a sound. Footsteps. Too light to be human, too deliberate to be an animal. He turned. Isul stood 20 feet away. She wore no armor, just simple clothes, torn and dirty. Her sword hung at her side. Her skin was gray, almost colorless. She looked thinner than he remembered, exhausted. They stared at each other across the distance. "You look terrible," Daehyun said finally. "So do you. What are you doing here?" Isul took a step forward. "I was exiled, after the escape attempt. After I reported it but failed to prevent casualties, Commander Taejin stripped me of my rank and sent me to the wastes to die." "Good," Daehyun said. The word came out harder than he intended. "You deserve it." Isul's skin flickered with dark colors. "Yes, I do." "Why are you here? Why did you find me?" "Because you are still claimed. Because the bond does not break just because we are both exiled. Because—" She stopped. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Because I have been tracking you for 5 days. Because I need to know if you are alive. Because even though I betrayed you, even though I destroyed whatever we had, I cannot stop caring if you survive. You sent me into a trap. Yes? You let them try to kill us. Yes? Why?" Isul's composure finally cracked. Colors exploded across her skin. A chaotic mess of crimson and black and blue. "Because I was afraid. Because for the first time in my life, I cared about something more than duty and honor. I cared about you, and that terrified me. So I tried to destroy it. I tried to prove to myself and everyone else that duty came first, that I was still a warrior, that the claiming meant nothing." Tears ran down her face. Daehyun had never seen a Velthara cry before. "But it did not work," she continued. "I am no longer a warrior. I am exiled, dishonored. Everything I was is gone. And the only thing I have left is this bond, this connection to you that I tried to kill and could not." She dropped to her knees. "So here I am, in the wastes, following you, protecting you from predators you did not even know were hunting you, because I am bound to you. Because my soul will not let me abandon you, even though you must hate me now." Daehyun walked toward her, his hands clenched into fists. Part of him wanted to hit her. Part of him wanted to hold her. Part of him wanted to scream until his throat bled. "I do hate you," he said. "I hate that you made me trust you. I hate that you betrayed that trust. I hate that even now, even after everything, I am glad you are alive." He knelt in front of her. They were eye level now. "But I understand why you did it, because I would have done the same thing. If our positions were reversed, if you were human and I was Velthara, I would have chosen my people too. That is what loyalty means. That is what duty means." Isul looked up at him. Her amber eyes were red from crying. "So what do we do now?" "I do not know," Daehyun admitted. "But we need to survive. My people are planning to raid a Velthara outpost. They are going to get themselves killed. And despite everything, I cannot let that happen." "Then we stop them," Isul said. "Together. Together? We are both outcasts now, both exiled, both alone. But maybe we do not have to be alone separately." She held out her hand. "Maybe we can be alone together." Daehyun looked at her hand, at the crimson skin that had marked him as claimed, at the woman who had saved him and betrayed him, and somehow, impossibly, still cared if he lived or died. He took her hand. Together, he agreed. And in the wilderness of an alien world, Surrounded by death and danger and the wreckage of everything they had been, something new began to grow, something fragile, something honest, something that might be strong enough to survive, if they could survive everything else first. The human survivors did not react well to Isul's presence. Minho raised his weapon immediately. Jiwon moved to put himself between her and the others. The tension was thick enough to cut with a blade. "Wait," Daehyun said, stepping between them. "Before you shoot, listen. She is exiled, like us. Her people abandoned her. We need her help." "Need her help?" Jiwon's voice shook with anger. "She is the one who set the trap. She is the reason people died." "She is also the only one who knows the outpost layout," Isul said calmly. "The guard schedules, the weak points in their defenses. Without me, your raid fails. With me, you might survive." Minho kept his weapon raised but did not fire. "Why would you help us?" "We are your enemy." "I have no people anymore," Isul said. "I am exiled, dishonored. To the Velthara, I am already dead. The only thing I have left is this bond." She gestured to Daehyun. "Where he goes, I go. If helping you keeps him alive, then I help you." Yoonji stepped forward. "She is telling the truth. I can see it, and she is right. We need intelligence about that outpost, or we are walking into another death trap." The debate lasted an hour. In the end, desperation and logic won over hatred. They would accept Isul's help. But Minho insisted on conditions. She would be watched at all times. She would not carry weapons. At the first sign of betrayal, they would kill her. Isul agreed to everything without argument. They spent the next day planning. Isul drew maps in the dirt, showing the outpost's layout. She explained the guard rotation patterns. She identified the communications room, the supply depot, the weakest entry points. "The outpost is designed to defend against ground attacks," she said. "But there is a ventilation system on the roof, too small for a Velthara to fit through, but a human could manage." "You want us to crawl through their air ducts?" Jiwon said. "I want you to survive. This is how you do it." As the sun set, Daehyun and Isul sat apart from the others. Her skin had remained gray all day, colorless, lifeless. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I do not know what okay means anymore." "That makes two of us." Isul looked at him. "When this is over, if we survive, what happens to us?" "I do not know. The bond is still there. I can feel it. Can you?" Daehyun thought about it. Yes. Now that she mentioned it, he could feel something, a connection he could not quite name, like a string tied between their souls. "Yes, I feel it. The old texts say the bond can only end through fulfillment or death. We have not fulfilled it. So either we die or we find a way to live with this connection between us." "Maybe that is not so bad," Daehyun said quietly. "The connection part." Isul's skin flickered with the faintest hint of crimson. "Maybe not." The raid happened the next night. Daehyun and Minho climbed onto the outpost roof using equipment salvaged from the crashed ship. The other humans waited below, ready to provide a distraction if needed. Isul stayed with them, still watched closely by Jiwon. The ventilation shaft was exactly where Isul said it would be. Daehyun crawled through first, his heart pounding. The shaft was tight and hot and dark. He inched forward, following Isul's directions from memory. He emerged in a storage room, empty. He helped Minho down. They crept through the outpost, keeping to the shadows. The communications room was on the second floor. 2 guards stood outside. Velthara warriors, armed and alert. No way to get past them without a fight. Daehyun remembered his training. Fight like a human, not like a warrior. Do whatever it takes to survive. He found a crate near the wall, pushed it hard. It tumbled down the stairs with a tremendous crash. Both guards ran to investigate the sound. Daehyun and Minho slipped into the communications room. The equipment was Velthara technology, but Daehyun had learned enough during his time in the fortress to understand the basics. He activated the long-range transmitter and began broadcasting an emergency signal on human military frequencies. "This is Communications Officer Daehyun of the Sunrise Dawn. Any human vessels in range, please respond. We have survivors on Kethrin Prime. Coordinates are—" An alarm screamed through the outpost. The guards had discovered them. "Keep broadcasting," Minho said, positioning himself at the door. "I will hold them off." Velthara warriors poured into the corridor. Minho opened fire. Energy bolts lit up the hallway. He dropped 3 warriors before they reached him. Then they were on him, and his weapon went flying. Daehyun kept broadcasting. Southern Continent, Crimson Wastes region. 13 survivors. Requesting immediate extraction. "This is Communications Officer Daehyun." A Velthara warrior burst through the door. Minho was down. Daehyun grabbed a metal bar from a broken chair and swung it at the warrior's head. The warrior blocked it easily and struck Daehyun in the chest. He flew backward, slamming into the communications console. The warrior raised his sword. Isole appeared in the doorway. She held a sword, not a practice blade. A real one, taken from one of the fallen guards. Her skin was black with rage. "Traitor!" the warrior snarled at her. "Yes," Isole said. "I am." They fought. Isole was still exiled, still dishonored, but she was also still the Silver Storm. She moved like water and struck like lightning. The warrior was skilled, but Isole was better. She disarmed him in 4 moves and knocked him unconscious in 5. More warriors were coming. Dozens of them. The whole outpost had been alerted. "Did the signal go through?" Isole asked. Daehyun checked the console. "Yes, I got 3 replies. The fleet received our coordinates. Then we run, now." They grabbed Minho, who was conscious but bleeding, and fled. The other humans had started their distraction, setting fire to the supply depot. Smoke filled the outpost. Alarms screamed. In the chaos, they escaped into the forest. They ran for hours. When they finally stopped, gasping and exhausted, they were miles from the outpost. "The fleet will come," Yoonji said between breaths. "We just need to survive until they arrive." "The outpost will send hunters," Isole said. "They will track us. We have maybe 1 day before they find us." "Then we make our stand," Minho said. "Pick defensible ground and fight." "We cannot fight them," Jiwon said. "We are outnumbered and outmatched." "Then what do you suggest?" Minho asked. Everyone looked at Daehyun. He realized with surprise that they were actually listening to him now, waiting for him to have an answer. "We do not fight them," he said slowly. "We talk to them." "Talk?" Jiwon said. "You want to negotiate with the people hunting us?" "No. I want to end the war." Silence. Everyone stared at him like he had lost his mind. "Think about it," Daehyun continued. "Why are we fighting? Because the Velthara see humans as weak and dangerous. Because humans see Velthara as violent and cruel. But we are both wrong. We are both incomplete. The Velthara have strength and honor, but lack flexibility and compassion. Humans have adaptability and emotion, but lack discipline and purpose. Separately, we are flawed. Together, we could be unstoppable." "This is insane," Jiwon said. "He is right," Isole said quietly. All eyes turned to her. "I have lived among my people all my life. I know our weaknesses. We are rigid, predictable. We cannot adapt to new situations. Daehyun showed me that in the tournament. He showed all of us that. Humans fight in ways we cannot counter because we cannot imagine fighting without honor." She looked at Daehyun. "And I have seen what humans lack. You are brilliant at improvising but terrible at long-term planning. You feel deeply, but cannot control those feelings. You need what we have, as much as we need what you have. So what do we do? Yunji asked. We stop running, Daehyun said. We find the hunters when they come. And we offer them a choice. Help us end this war or kill us and let the war continue until both our species are destroyed. It was the craziest plan anyone had ever heard. It would probably get them all killed. But they had no better options. The hunters found them at dawn. 30 Velthara warriors led by Commander Taejin himself. They surrounded the humans, weapons drawn. Taejin looked at Isol with disgust. You are helping them now? You fall even further than I thought possible. I am trying to save us all, Isol said. She stepped forward, placing herself between the warriors and the humans. Commander, listen to me. This war will destroy both our species. The humans have a fleet coming. We cannot stop them. They will rain fire on Kethran Prime in revenge for their captured people. Thousands will die. Maybe millions. Then we will die with honor, Taejin said. There is no honor in pointless death, Isol's voice cracked. I have lived among the humans. I have seen their strengths. They are not weak. They are different. And different does not mean enemy. It means opportunity. Daehyun stepped forward to stand beside her. We do not want to destroy you. We want to live. Both species, living together, learning from each other. Imagine what we could build if we combined Velthara discipline with human innovation, Velthara honor with human compassion. Fantasy, Taejin said. Our peoples are too different. We are proof it can work, Daehyun said, gesturing to himself and Isul. She claimed me. We are bonded, and through that bond, we have learned from each other. She has taught me strength. I have taught her flexibility. We are better together than we were apart. Taejin looked at his warriors, then at the humans, then back at Isol. Even if I wanted to believe you, I am just a commander. I cannot end a war. No, Isol said, but you can start a conversation. Let us bring this to the High Council. Let us present this idea to the human fleet commanders. Let us at least try before more people die. And if the council refuses, then we are no worse off than we are now. But if they agree, we could save both our species. Taejin was silent for a long time. His skin shifted through colors, internal conflict playing out across his body. Finally, he lowered his weapon. I will take you to the council, but I promise nothing. They may execute you all for this insult. Then we die trying to make peace instead of running from war, Isol said. I will take that death. They traveled back to the main fortress. Along the way, the human fleet arrived in orbit. Both sides prepared for battle. But before the first shot could be fired, Taejin transmitted a message requesting a ceasefire for negotiations. The human admiral, a woman named Admiral Bowman, was skeptical, but she agreed to meet. The negotiations took place in a neutral zone. The High Council on one side, human military command on the other. In the middle stood Daehyun and Isol. They told their story. They showed what two people from different species could accomplish when they worked together. They argued and pleaded and fought for a chance at peace. The council was divided. Some wanted to reject the proposal entirely. Others were intrigued. Commander Taejin spoke in support, noting that the humans had shown capabilities the Velthara had underestimated. Admiral Bowman was more receptive. We came here for war, she said. But if we can leave with peace, that is a victory worth more than any battle. In the end, both sides agreed to a trial. A joint colony world where humans and Velthara would live together. A test to see if coexistence was possible. If it succeeded, they would expand the program. If it failed, they would return to war. It was not perfect. It was fragile and uncertain and could fall apart at any moment. But it was a chance, a hope, a bridge between two species that had only known each other as enemies. 5 years later, Daehyun stood on the surface of Threshold, the colony world that had grown from that fragile agreement. Human and Velthara worked side by side, building something new. The colony had problems, cultural conflicts, misunderstandings. But it was working. Slowly, imperfectly. But it was working. Isolde stood beside him, her hand in his. Her skin was crimson, as it had been since the day she claimed him. They had married in both human and Velthara traditions. 2 ceremonies, 2 cultures, 1 bond. "Do you ever regret it?" Daehyun asked. "Everything you gave up?" "I gave up being the Silver Storm," Isolde said. "But I became something better. I became a bridge. And I found you." She looked up at him. "My soul knew before my mind understood. That is the way of true bonds." In the distance, human children played with Velthara younglings, learning each other's languages, sharing each other's games, growing up together in a world where the old hatreds were fading. "We did this," Daehyun said quietly. "We changed everything." "We started it," Isolde corrected. "They will finish it." She pointed to the children. "That is the generation that will truly unite our species. They will grow up knowing both cultures, being both warrior and dreamer, strong and flexible, honorable and compassionate. They will be the best of both worlds." Daehyun pulled her close. "I love you." "I know," Isolde said. "My skin told you years ago. You just took a while to understand." They stood together, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors neither Earth nor Kethrin Prime had ever known. A new world, a new future, a bridge built from a kiss that should have been a death sentence. And in the distance, the stars waited, ready for the day when humans and Velthara would explore them together. Not as enemies, not even as allies, but as one people, united by the courage of 2 souls who refused to let fear and tradition dictate what was possible. The war was over, the bridge was built, and the future stretched ahead, endless and bright and full of hope,